Hi again everyone, Scott Pyre Popcorn fan here, and in this video, I just got back from seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I am ready to give my review for the movie. Wow, I definitely think this is one of the better MCU films we've had in a while. I thought this movie was really, really good, and I'm ready to give my thoughts on it. I thought this movie was really well directed by James Gunn. It's considered his last Guardians film in the MCU, mainly because, as you all know, that keep up with comic book news, James Gunn is going to be the new head of DC going forward with his new DC universe that he's doing, and that's part of the reason why he's probably not going to make another Guardians movie again anytime soon. I mean, that could maybe change at some point in the future. But as of now, James Gunn won't be returning to make a Guardians movie. Granted, that doesn't mean the Guardians won't come back. I definitely think that they will, especially Peter Quill, Chris Pratt. I'm sure he will come back. It even said so in the end credits. So, but yeah, I think that this movie, it definitely has a bit of a darker tone compared to the previous films, but also having a little bit of levity throughout the whole film. There's still a lot of comedy in this movie, and the comedy in these movies, they really work. They really do. It works for Guardians. Some of the other movies in the MCU, like Thor: Love and Thunder, not as much. But nonetheless, I thought this was a very entertaining film from beginning to end. And I loved what they did with Rocket Raccoon in this movie. Oh wow, easily he's a character that that I felt like I related to the most. Well, him and probably also Drax, but yeah, I thought the cast was just great across the board, especially the actor that played the villain, High Evolutionary. I thought what they did with him was rather interesting, and also something I learned after seeing the movie, the actor that played High Evolutionary, okay, this is going to be an interesting little fact, and also something that I thought was pretty cool, because the actor that played the villain, I don't want to, I don't want to butcher his name. His name is a little bit hard to pronounce, but he's married to someone who my mom actually teached a long time ago. A woman named Angela. A woman named, what was her name? Trevino? Angela Trevino? She's one of my mom's former students, and the actor that played the villain in this movie, he's married to her. So I thought that was a really interesting fact that I learned after seeing this, because the actor's wife was originally from here in San Francisco, California, and she's one of my mom's former students. So I thought that was a really cool fact that I learned after seeing the movie. And yeah, but other than that, this movie was a blast, as I've said. And I think that a lot of people will really like this movie and what it did, being the third entry in the Guardians trilogy. I definitely think a lot gets wrapped up in this film and has a really good conclusion, and also just balanced the drama pretty well with the humor. And you definitely got some really tense moments in this film that made you care about the characters. You cared about the characters, and you didn't want you don't want anything to happen to any of these characters because you love them so much, and they're a family. The Guardians are a family, as has been established in the previous two films, and that's why I think these movies resonate with a lot of people, especially my family too. Almost everyone in my family likes these movies as well, and there's a lot about the Guardians movies that many people love, and especially me. I still think the first Guardians film is still the best in this trilogy, but this one definitely close second, right underneath that, and then the second film probably my least favorite in the trilogy. But yeah, the music, once again, the soundtrack, it's just, man, I wouldn't say there's as many songs in this film as the previous two films. Like, the songs are more in the background than this one, but still a great soundtrack nonetheless. And let's see, if I had to think of any criticisms, I guess the movie felt a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I feel like there was a certain point near the end where the movie could have ended, but it was still going. So I will say that the movie does feel a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. And also, I mean, I don't really have too many flaws with this movie. I loved it. And I also really liked how, in regards to Rocket Raccoon and his character arc throughout the film, I thought that was really well handled. And a part of his arc throughout the film sort of reminded me of Caesar a little bit in the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy. It was interesting and kind of reminded me of that a little bit. But yeah, I thought this was definitely something that a lot of people will really love, and especially for families, as I've said. But also, okay, even though this movie is PG-13, this is, I mean, there's one word in this movie that some people might be surprised to hear in a movie like that's Guardians of the Galaxy. They're going to be surprised by one word that is said in this movie, and it's in a scene where Peter says it. Peter says it to Nebula. Oh man, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say what that word is, but it's a word I've never thought I'd hear in a Marvel movie. Just saying. But yeah, I thought this was an amazing film. I don't have any flaws with it really, except for the fact that the movie just felt a little bit too long, in a way. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna give this movie an A. I thought it was amazing, and I will say that I liked what they did with Gamora. I was half expecting her character to sort of I'm not gonna spoil it, but I was half expecting something with her character near the end, but it didn't happen. But it made sense though with what they did with her character near the end, and I thought she was great too. Zoe Saldana continues to be such a great actress in these big blockbuster films, even in the Avatar movies, and also the Star Trek movies from a while back. She's a great actress, and I just really enjoyed this movie. And also I have to say, another thing, the banter between Mantis and Drax, easily the highlight of the movie as well. I love their banter and the relationship between those two characters, especially in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I love the banter between them. You could definitely, I wouldn't mind watching a TV show about those two, with Mantis and Drax. They're such a comedic duo, and they're perfect for being, like in a comedy show. I think that would be really funny. Those two are great, and I loved this movie, and what they did in the end, in the third act, I thought was really well handled, and overall, just such a great film. I loved it. Yeah, my grade is an A for this movie, and that should do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.